The updated GWM Cannon Ute is here, and it's got a bigger engine and bigger towing capacity. And let me tell you people, I don't want to give too much away, but you're going to be shocked at some of the findings in this review. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, let's check it out. I've already done a full detailed review on this updated version of the GWM Cannon Ute. You can check out the link in the description if you want to learn more about it, all the pricing specs and details that you might want to find out about, and what it's like to drive in day-to-day driving as well. But in this review, I'm going to be towing this massive caravan from Avita. My mates there have helped me out once more. It's a 3.2 ton van. I'm going to go through all the weights and capacities in a sec, but like I said, this Ute now has a more powerful engine to help it tow something this big. So let's talk about this new engine. Under the bonnet of this updated Cannon Ute is a 2.4 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine with 135 kilowatts and 480 Newton meters of torque. That's more than some of the others out there, that's for sure. And it uses a 9-speed automatic transmission as standard, and there's a torque sensing 4-wheel drive system that can vary where the power is going. It can run as a 2-wheel drive in eco mode, or it will be a 4x4 full-time, which is a promising thing in its own right. Now, let's talk about some of the weights and capacities that you need to know about this Ute. I'm going to put some numbers on your screen that you will need to pay attention to if you're planning to tow something this large. So firstly, the gross vehicle mass and also the gross combination mass. So you can do the maths and figure out whether you'll be able to tow something quite this large behind. And in terms of the payload capacity, that's on your screen now for this version of the Cannon Ute. So it is certainly going to stack up pretty well in terms of those numbers. And look, 3.5 ton braked towing capacity is the claim, and this van behind it, thanks again to my mates at Avita for loaning me this one, it is 3.2 tons as towed. So it's heavy and it's big and it's long, so let's go see whether this feels up to the task. Okay, so what's it like to tow with? Well, I have been very pleasantly surprised by the experience I've had while towing this big caravan in this GWM Cannon Ute. It is really, really up for it. Like, way better than I was expecting. I was probably expecting that it would be a little bit wheezy and a little bit clumsy with the gear shifts, but so far I have just been thoroughly impressed with the way that this powertrain behaves itself. It is a 2.4 litre turbo diesel, as I said. The outputs are pretty generous, and it does have a very good, strong amount of torque available. And this 9-speed automatic transmission, it has surprised me with its logic, because it seems to understand what you need when you need it in most situations. There has been a few moments where I've just been like, oh, I didn't know why you did that, but it is still really, really impressive, and it will even go into 9th gear in low stress situations. I was on the freeway before, sitting at 100 in the left lane, and it went into 9th. The only way I could tell that though was by tapping the gear shifter. It does have paddle shifters on the steering wheel, so I tapped the shifter to see what was showing up on the screen, because it doesn't have a display on screen to tell you which gear you're in. So that could be improved, but I do think that this transmission largely is very, very smooth, responsive, and has great logic. And that means that it feels pretty stress-free when it comes to the powertrain and the towing experience more generally here. I have just been really, really impressed. I mean, like I said, you've got the paddle shifters. If you want to take matters into your own hands, you can, but I haven't felt the need to. It has been clever enough for what I expect of a dual cab Ute like this when towing something this large. And on top of that, the engine is quiet. Like so many of the other dual cab Utes in this segment, including the likes of the Hilux and the Tasman and even the Triton, are very, very noisy when you are using the engine when you're towing something like this. This is refined and quiet, like surprisingly refined and quiet for this type of Ute. And more generally, I think the drive experience is pretty predictable. The steering is well weighted. It is quite pointy on center, so you do have a good amount of predictability. It's pretty good in corners as well. It's not as darty as some of the other utes when you do quickly change direction on center. It certainly will allow you to feel what's happening, but it's not gonna quickly change. So I think that that is promising, and the weighting of the steering is very good generally as well. And when it comes to the ride comfort, well, I've been absolutely shocked by how good it is. It is really, really good in terms of ride comfort. Like it's not feeling like it is flummoxed by this much weight. So many utes do, and over bumpy stuff, sure, you can feel bumps and lumps in the surface. There's no doubt about that. And you can feel that the back end has dropped a little bit, but it's nowhere near as praying mantis as some of the other utes that I've tested. And I've just been really impressed with the ride and the body control of the vehicle as well. And the general drivability of it is really impressive. And these sorts of surfaces are bloody everywhere in Australia. So if you venture anywhere outside of the major cities or even some of the major highways, you're going to come into these sorts of roads regularly. And this ute, I mean, it is eating it up like a ute that's bigger than it. And that's really impressive. It just doesn't feel all that fussed by these little lumps and bumps and sharp edges in the surface. I'm impressed, thoroughly impressed. Usually over this particular section of road, my voice is super shaky. I can barely talk, but not now. This is, oh my goodness, you're a champion. Now, it does have a red arc electronic brake controller fitted, so the brake response has been good. And it does have four-wheel disc brakes as well, so the general driving and braking behavior is quite promising. And I also am just really impressed with the tech offering here. When you do have something this heavy hitched up, it turns off a fair few of the active safety technologies, and that means that it is a purer experience. And when it comes to the cruise control, well, you can't use it. Just like the Cannon Alpha, and that might change at a later date, but at the moment, you cannot use cruise control while you are driving this ute. So that might be something that is an issue, because I think cruise control can be very, very advantageous if you're doing long distance road trips and you just need to take your mind off your feet for a little bit. Now, this road loop that I've been doing has been a mix of urban, highway, freeway, arterial roads, stop-start stuff, the sort of stuff you'll probably do when you go out and tow with your Cannon Ute. And I've just been really shocked by how good this is. One of the most annoying things about it though is the blinkers. Like, they really don't cancel as quickly as I would hope they would. And well, if you do want to cancel them, it can be a bit tedious to get the bloody stalk to stop blinking. You might end up indicating the other way. So just be mindful of that. All right, let's talk fuel consumption. So the official combined cycle fuel consumption number for this version of the Cannon Ute is on your screen now. And look, you're never going to see that kind of low number when you're towing something like this. But I have been pretty impressed with the way that this vehicle goes in terms of the fuel consumption that's on display, at least. I haven't done a tank to tank measure, but I think that for a ute towing 3.2 tons, doing a mix of different driving, the number that you'll see on your screen now is better than respectable and better than some of the other dual cab utes that I've tested, that's for sure. I mean, I still think that if you are thinking of towing something this large all the time and you want to save fuel, well, you could buy a bigger vehicle, that's going to cost you more money. You could buy a V6 ute, that's going to cost you more money. And the money that you're saving buying this ute is going to buy you a lot of fuel, and it's not thirsty. Like, I just keep getting impressed and impressed and impressed by what this ute is like on this towing test. The fuel tank capacity for the Cannon Ute range is on your screen now, and keep in mind, it is a Euro 5 ute, so it doesn't require AdBlue, as part of the emissions reductions of this vehicle. So that means one less thing to factor into your consumption and factor into your planning as well. Quite frankly, I wasn't expecting to be this impressed by this ute, but it has blown me away in lots of different ways. For the money, I don't think you'll be able to find a better ute with this kind of towing capacity and capability. It's up to the task, and honestly, I've been really impressed by it. Have your say in the comment section below. If you own one of these utes and you tow with it regularly, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you when I see you.